Well, hello folks, and welcome to my brand spanking new YouTube channel, Gear and Gadget Reviews. You have the privilege of watching the first video on this channel. Thank you so much for subscribing to this. It's very tough getting a YouTube channel started up, and I'm taking kind of a risk trying to do my reviews only on this channel versus my main channel. And I don't want to skew that channel with a bunch of reviews and have my subscribers think I'm just trying to sell them a bunch of stuff, which I'm not. So I created this one, and we're going to be doing quite a few solar panel battery power station units. I've got 5 or 6 and I need to get a review done on them. If you're in the market for one of these power stations, you've obviously probably heard of the Jackery unit. They kind of started this whole revolution, I think. But as times have changed, technology's gotten better, manufacturing prices have gone down, batteries have gotten better, yada, yada, yada. There's a lot of companies out there that produce a pretty good product, and I think a lot of the times with a Jackery, you might be paying for the name. I'm not a technical specialist. If you really want to break down into that type of aspect, go check out Hobotech. He does amazing breakdowns on these units, takes them apart, tests the heck out of them. I'm going to review them how I use them out camping at the house. I'm not going to tear them apart, but if you really want to get into that, go check out his channel. But there's a lot of companies out there now that create good power stations. They're not going to catch on fire. They're not going to blow up. They're going to be useful. They're good units. And some of these actually have, in my opinion, have more features than the Jackeries do for a better price. So with that, To Go Power sent me this Advanced 350 little battery unit, but this is essentially a 346 watt hour power station. Now, if you guys don't know what that means, you'll have to do the math yourself, but essentially this unit will run, in theory, 346 watts for 1 hour, okay? So it'll run 175 watts for 2 hours, so on and so forth. So do the math. If you're only gonna be running 15, 20 watts, you'll have to, figure that out on your own. I don't have a calculator handy, but that's what the watt hour means. Here's the picture of it. So, foam, you got lots of documentations, you got the battery unit itself, and you've got a box with all of the cables that you need. Here's the unit itself. Okay, and again, I'll bring you in and show you all the features of it. But it comes with basically everything that you need to charge this thing from different avenues. So you've got your AC, you've got your AC power brick, solar input charging cables, if you're gonna use solar panels. This goes to your power brick and directly to your AC plug. And then you've got a DC car port, cigarette lighter port, okay? And it also comes with a couple of barrel adapters, extra barrel adapters. There's everything that you need. So let me bring you in a little bit closer and show you all the ports and some of the features of this thing, and we'll go from there, guys. Okay, so close-up view of this little guy, and let me go through and show you what all this thing has on it. So first off, you've got dust covers on all the ports, which is different than most of the units that I have, so that's always a good thing. So this is your DC port, and you've got two 12-volt 10-amp barrel connectors, and then you also have a 12-volt DC cigarette style input right there, and it is on its own circuit. So if you want to use any of the DC ports, you actually have to hit the circuit, the DC button there. Over here, you've got your USB ports, and these are all quick charge 3.0 ports and a USB 60-watt power delivery output. You cannot charge via this power delivery port, but you can output 60 watts. And this is really useful if you want to use it for, like, say, your laptop. You can plug in a power delivery cord to your laptop and not have to mess with the inverter for the AC and the power brick. So it uses a lot less juice on this power station if you use a power delivery port. So that's good, 60 watts right there. And then over here you've got your one standard house outlet, 110 outlet on its own AC inverter switch. And then here is your port for charging, okay? And this unit also has a 10-watt wireless charging station up top. So you can, if your phone supports wireless charging, you can put your phone up on top of here. I thought this was a gimmick, but my last camping trip, my wife needed to charge her phone and we couldn't find the lightning cable. I had to dig one out from the back of my truck. It was a mess. This would have been a lot easier if we had it. She could have just laid her phone on top. So it's really not that big of a gimmick. It actually does come, it would have come in really handy if we would have had this last week. Then on the handle up here, you've got a button, and this controls two functions. It has a LED light, kind of like a floodlight up here. And if you hit it again, sorry about those sirens, you've got a little LED spotlight. So that's something that some of these don't have, i.e. the Jackery. They don't have lights. This guy's 346 watt hours. It pretty much weighs 9.5 pounds. You've got an 80,000 milliamp lithium battery in this thing. The AC is pure sine wave. So you can charge sensitive electronics, computers, you know, run a TV. It's not going to hurt those sensitive electronics with this being pure sine wave. Charging on this guy, the specs state 5 to 6 hours if you're using the wall outlet, and I'll plug that in and show you how many watts it actually uses. So to charge this guy, the specs say that you can charge it in about 5 to 6 hours via the wall outlet, or 7 to 8 hours via the carport charger. And you can use these ports while you are charging the device. I personally don't recommend that, but To Go Power website states that you can use any one of these ports while you're charging, so leave that as it may. Let me go ahead and plug this thing in now, so hopefully you can see the screen and see the user interface, because it does have a lot of good information on here. Especially, you know, I keep comparing it to the Jackery, but the Jackery doesn't really tell you anything. This one tells you a lot more information than the Jackery does. So let me plug that in. Okay, so I've got my wall charger, my AC power brick. I'm gonna plug it in, and then plug this guy into the charging input. And you can see now my battery is at 94%. Input's fluctuating right now between, we're at 79 to 78 watts of power being flowed into this unit via this wall charger. And you can tell here the input, I've got 19 minutes left until I've got a full battery. So that's useful. It kind of gives you an idea of how long these things will take to charge using that, okay? Let me go grab a DC charger to see how many watts we pull using the DC charging port. Okay, so here's a good example of how most of us would use this. So I've got a little camping fan right here, and I'm gonna cut the AC circuit off. I'm gonna use, and by the way guys, these little 12 volt barrel adapters are 5525 adapters, not your standard 5521. So all I had to do was go buy a 5521 to 5525 adapter, because most things that you buy have a 5521. All you gotta do is plug that in like so, plug it into one of the barrel inputs, plug your fan in, hit the DC power button. There we go. That feels good. It's hot out here. So I am pulling 10 watts of DC power. And this is telling me that I can run this fan for 32 hours. And if I turn the fan down a little bit lower, it should pull less wattage. Pulling 7 watts, and I can run it on this speed for 46 hours. There you go. Now let me go grab my phone and show you the wireless charging. Fan's running, I'm pulling 7 watts. I've got 46 hours of remaining runtime. I'm gonna place this and it's charging now. I'm pulling 14 watts, and I've got a 14 watts, and I've got a remaining time of 25 to 26 hours running the fan. And if my phone charged for 22 hours, that's how long it would take, but we know that's not gonna take 22 hours to charge my phone. So here's a close-up of the screen running my fan on low, wirelessly charging my iPhone. I'm pulling 14 watts of juice, and I've got 22 hours of runtime remaining running these two off of this unit. Okay, so last thing to plug into this little unit, I've got another fan, but I'm actually going to use the AC inverter to plug this in. So we've got a DC port and the inverter running at the same time. Let me turn this fan on high. There we go. So 2 fans running, my phone charging, the LED light on. I'm pulling 44 DC watts, and I've got a remaining runtime with all of this stuff going on right now for 7 hours. So there you go, guys. I mean, you're probably typically not going to ever run this much, but if you do, you know that you're going to get overnight with it. You're going to get 7 hours worth of runtime on this 350 watt, 346 watt hour battery unit. So we can turn the AC circuit off, cut this fan off, and you can see the watts drop down to, I'm using now 14 watts, again, because of the fan and my phone. Let's cut the DC port off. And the DC port does have, I should have mentioned that, the DC port does have to be turned on in order to wirelessly charge your phone. So, you can get all these unplugged. So if you put your phone on top and nothing happens, hit your DC button, and you can see now I'm pulling 8 watts to charge my phone. Well, that's just a simple overview of this. So let's have final thoughts on this little battery unit. Okay, everyone, so that was just a very basic overall breakdown of how this little guy works. It's not a destructive breakdown test like Mr. Hobotech would do, but for my needs, for camping, I think it's going to be absolutely perfect, but it comes with everything that you need to get started. You know, you got all your different style charging cords that you need. It's got a little bit more power, so this is comparable, and I bought this Jackery unit a couple of years ago. This is the Jackery Explorer 300, and I'm not trying to knock Jackery. Again, I paid for this, but I think for the price, you get, in theory, 50 more watts with this. You get wireless charging. You get a much better user interface on the to-go power station than you do the Jackery, in my opinion. The Jackery just shows you the battery unit and input-output watts. That's it. This one shows you time to discharge. It's got a high-low temperature warning on it. It's got a lot more useful features on the LCD screen than the Jackery does. And with 50 more watts, this is the same price. And these always have $20, $30 coupons on Amazon. This one, not so much. I don't see as many sales on the Jackery as I do the to-go power. So, and it's getting hot here in Texas already. Whew. So guys, and then you can see the size difference. So the to-go power definitely is a little bit bigger. Just a smidge heavier, not much. Again, this is about 9.5 pounds. I'm not sure what the Jackery weighs, but you know, overall, if I were to go spend my money on between this and this, I would probably pick the to-go power based off just I like the user interface more. And the big thing for me is I like having these barrel adapter ports because I use a lot of those in my truck. The Jackery does not have any of those 12-volt barrel adapters. You only have your 2 USB ports. You've got a power delivery and an out port on the Jackery, so that's one benefit over the Jackery than the to-go, is that you can charge and output 60 watts via power delivery on the Jackery. You can't charge via power delivery on this, but you can this one. You know, and then the Jackery's got 2 AC outlets, whereas the to-go only has 1. But I typically don't ever use AC outlets on these things because it takes a lot more juice to run that inverter, so I try to use everything off of DC power. That's pretty much the to-go power station. I think it's a good buy. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's going to hold up well. You know, I'm going to take this out on my next camping trip and put it through its paces a little bit more and use it on my truck rig to see how it works. But overall, I'm actually pretty happy with it. Not just because it was sent to me, because I've got a couple more that I'm going to review that I'm not happy with, that I'll share my thoughts with you guys on, because I want this to be fair, open, and honest. But so far, this one, I'm pretty happy with. So to-go power, Advanced 350, and guys, they have a ton of different models of these. They have the Advanced 300, Advanced 240, Advanced 600. They have a lot of different price points for these units with different watt hours. So pick your poison. Pick the size that you think you're going to need. I picked this 350 because it's kind of right in the middle. I didn't want something huge, and I didn't want something tiny that's going to burn out overnight. I think the 350 watts is going to be perfect for an overnight. And then when I wake up in the morning, I can either solar charge it, I can plug it into shore power if I have that, charge it up, I can plug it into my truck, charge it up during the day, whatever. I'm going to be able to recharge it, and it's going to last overnight. So that's why I picked this specific unit. So I'm going to quit rambling, guys. Thank you for watching the very first video on my sister YouTube channel. I hope this thing kicks off well. I'm excited about it. I hope you guys find it useful and educational for some of the stuff that I'm going to be reviewing. So coming up, like I said, I've got 3 or 4 more of these battery units. I've got some solar panels I've got to review. I've got some 12-volt car refrigerators I've got to review. I'm going to do a overall runtime test on these battery units and a 12-volt fridge, in case you guys are wondering how long can this run a 12-volt fridge. Will it run it over the weekend? Will it run it overnight? I'm going to do a test on those as well coming up. So lots to come, lots in store, and I gotta make this little YouTube channel look pretty. I don't even have a banner for it yet, so that's my wife's job. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for the support, and we will definitely see you soon with the next review coming up here very soon. So guys, until then, take care, see you soon, and thank you.